Am I being detained?
No, you're not being detained, no.
See you later then.
But you can't go through there.
You're harassing me.
I'm not harassing
I'm trying
you,
to
I'm
walk away.
talking to
Okay, I'm going to go this way instead then.
No,
No, I'm going to go to the bus stop. Okay? Leave me alone.
Welcome to the Audit Assessor, the place where we dissect real-world encounters between citizens and law enforcement. Here, we don't just react. We analyze. We look at the statutes, the behavior on both sides, and the surrounding circumstances so you walk away understanding your rights, the limits of police authority, and exactly where those boundaries meet. Today's episode comes to us courtesy of Audit Ed. Make sure you hit the link below, check out his channel, and support the original content. Credit matters. In this case, Ed is standing outside a university campus, holding nothing more than a camera. That alone sets the wheels in motion. Within moments, officers arrive, not with clear explanations, not with defined allegations, but with attitude. Before laying out any specific concern, they frame him as suspicious. What unfolds next isn't chaos or raised voices. It's something far more revealing. Ed stays composed. No theatrics. No escalation. Instead, he calmly asks the question that changes everything. What exactly have I done? Every time the officers lean on vague suspicion, he asks them to articulate it. When they hint at authority, he asks them to define it. When they suggest wrongdoing, he presses for the actual offense. And as the exchange stretches on, something becomes increasingly clear. The longer they talk, the more difficult it becomes for them to explain why they intervened in the first place.
Alright, are you guys here for me?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, why? Can you maintain your distance there?
Can. Of course, yeah.
And also identify yourselves. Did you just switch your camera on?
Yeah.
Alright, please don't delete that. I'll be requesting a copy, alright? Also yours, please don't delete that. I'll be requesting a copy.
Of course.
Alright, can you identify yourselves, please,
Can I
officers?
ask you first, sorry, what was your first name, my friend?
I'm not at liberty to give you that. When you approach a member of the public, you identify yourself. That's your policy, so identify yourself.
Okay. So my name is Simon Tops, Police Constable 693, Simon Tops, Avon and Somerset Police.
And yours is?
My colleague.
5512, Josh Burnell.
Alright, and what crime have I committed, or do you suspect me of committing?
Okay, what are you being so hostile?
I'm not being hostile, I'm just asking you, because when police approach me,
Yeah.
police come to deal with crimes, do they not?
Not necessarily, no.
What do they come to deal with? Civil matters?
Well, we're here to prevent crime.
So what crime do you suspect me of about to commit?
Not suggesting you're committing a crime at all. So.
Alright then.
What was your first name, so I can talk to you on first name basis?
No, it's fine, I'm not going to give you that.
Okay. Are you filming at the moment?
I am indeed, for my own
Okay, what's the
protection.
purpose of you filming?
My own purpose.
Right.
They walk up to him as if formality is optional. No names, no explanation, no clear reason for the contact. Ed is the one who has to ask who they are. That detail alone tells you how casually they inserted themselves into the situation. When he poses the most basic and lawful question, "What crime do you believe I've committed?" they don't answer it. Instead, they sidestep. The focus shifts from facts to tone. Suddenly, he's labeled hostile. That label gets used far too freely when someone insists on clarity. Requesting legal grounds for police involvement isn't aggression. It's accountability. The burden isn't on the citizen to prove innocence, it's on the officer to justify the intrusion. If there were a genuine, articulable suspicion of wrongdoing, it should have been stated immediately and plainly. The hesitation, the deflection, the reliance on characterizations instead of specifics, that's what stands out.
Can I ask why you're here at the...
Can I ask you a question? Am I being detained?
No, you're not being detained, no.
See you later then.
But you can't go through there.
I just asked the gentleman if I could go through and he said yeah.
Chris?
Did you not just tell me the way to the bus station?
Yeah, you're a bus, alright.
And left at the machine and all the way down?
I did say that.
Yeah.
Okay, can I
Okay.
just...
No, you can't actually.
Okay, well, whilst you're walking, I'll just make it quite
Are you
clear.
following me?
I'm not following
You're
you.
harassing me.
I'm not harassing
I'm trying
you,
to
I'm
walk
talking
away.
to
Okay,
you.
I'm going to go this way instead then.
No, if you...
So if you no, I'm going to go to the bus stop. Okay. Leave me alone. All right.
Okay, that's fine. If you make your way to the bus stop, that'd be great.
I'm not going. You're not going to follow me.
What?
Which way are you going?
Sorry?
Which way are you going?
Look, if you don't want me to follow...
I'm just asking you which way you're going.
I'm not here to call...
I'm just asking you which way you're going.
It doesn't matter which way I go, and go whichever way I like. I'm not being...
Alright, I'll wait for you to go then.
I'm not being dictated to by you.
Do you know your
where
oath?
I go, alright?
Do you know your oath?
Yeah, I do.
Can you say it to me?
No,
I'll start you
I'm
off.
not going to say it to you.
I'll start you off.
I'm not here to justify my actions.
No,
to
you're
you.
here to uphold the law.
I am.
Have I broken it?
Not at the moment, you haven't.
So leave me alone.
They make it clear, at least verbally, that he is not being detained. So Ed does what any free person has the right to do. He turns and begins to walk away. That's when the atmosphere changes. If he's truly free to go, then leaving shouldn't raise eyebrows. But as he moves off, the officers follow. Now they're asking where he's headed, shadowing him step for step, as though liberty only exists as long as he stays put. It doesn't work that way. Either a person's movement is restricted, or it isn't. You can't declare someone free while physically and psychologically pressuring them to remain. At that point, the encounter drifts away from law and into ego. Ed asks one officer to repeat the oath he took, not for spectacle, not for clicks, but as a pointed reminder of the duty that comes with the badge. The response? Refusal. The officer insists he doesn't owe any explanation. That single statement reveals more than anything else in the exchange. Law enforcement authority is not self-justifying. It is grounded in law, limited by law, and accountable to the public. Policing is not a closed circle where scrutiny is optional and transparency is a courtesy. When an officer suggests that justification isn't required, it undercuts the very foundation of constitutional policing.
Isn't consensual.
That's fine.
Policing by consent, leave me alone.
Okay, off you go then.
No, I will
Have a
go.
nice day.
I will go when I'm ready.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
cool.
Have a nice day.
I will. I'm actually having a lovely day.
Okay. If you could make your way to the bus station, though,
Why?
that would be great.
Why?
Okay, that's fine. I'm not here.
So why do you keep telling me what to do?
I'm not telling you what to
You
do.
are. You just said make your way to the bus station.
You
Like,
said you
what
were
right?
making your way-
Can I just ask you, what right do you have to tell me what to do when I haven't broken the law?
Okay.
You haven't got a right to tell me what to do when I haven't broken the law. So stop trying to bully me.
I'm not trying to.
Yes,
bully
you are. You're trying to
find
tell
out-
me what to
I'm
do.
trying to find out why you're walking around a university
Because
with
I'm
a camera.
I'll tell you why. Because I'm allowed to.
Okay.
Photography is
But
not a
some
crime.
of this university is private premises.
No, it's not,
It
bro.
is,
Do you know?
okay.
Are you
That's where you're wrong.
are you familiar with Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972?
No, I'm not. No,
you're
not
not. But you should be,
Okay.
because it's the law,
Okay.
which says at the material time of operating, the public are allowed access, whether upon payment or not,
To where?
anywhere that is open. This is a public space. These lines were painted by the council.
The energy changes again, not loud, not explosive, but heavy. The delivery turns clipped. Directives are issued as though the badge itself is the legal citation. The assumption seems to be that authority automatically equals lawfulness. When that approach doesn't stick, the justification shifts. Now it's private premises. The phrase is repeated with confidence, as if certainty alone can convert public space into restricted property. Ed doesn't match tone with tone. He doesn't raise his voice or spiral into argument. He goes straight to legal structure. He asks whether the officer is familiar with Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972, legislation addressing public access to places where the public is ordinarily allowed to be. The answer is telling: the officer isn't familiar with it. That admission carries weight. When someone claims to enforce a boundary but can't articulate the legal framework behind it, they aren't operating from statute, they're operating from assumption. Ed then grounds the discussion in something visible and objective: council road markings, indicators of public highway status. Those markings don't appear on land that is genuinely closed to public access. They are physical evidence of public designation. Instead of escalating, he anchors the conversation in law and observable facts. And with each unanswered question, the gap between authority and understanding becomes harder to ignore.
I think you're mistaken.
No,
This part of this
I'm not.
university is private property.
Can I just ask you
There
another
is
something?
public access.
If I was to
part
say
of
to
the
you,
universe.
if I was to say to you, I'm not going anywhere, what could you do?
Sorry?
If I was to say to you, I'm not going to leave now, what could you do?
Well, I don't intend to do anything.
You
at the
couldn't.
moment.
You couldn't do anything because I haven't broken the law. When those guys rang you and reported a crime, what you should have said to them is not breaking
They
the
have
law.
reported a crime.
What did they do?
Reported a suspicious person filming at a
suspicion-
university campus.
Is photography a crime? You're recording. You're
Well, I
recording.
don't know.
You guys,
How
let me
do
just
I know
say, you,
that you're not filming for terrorist
do you know?
purposes?
You see that on your uniform?
Yeah.
That thin blue line thing.
How
That is
do
an utter disgrace.
How do I know?
You disgrace the country with that.
How do I know that you're not filming for terrorist purposes?
So we go.
for example?
So we go on what we do know, what we don't, not what we don't.
Well, not necessarily.
No,
That's a game
so-
where you're wrong. Isn't
Okay,
It?
so what reasonable suspicion do you have that I'm a terrorist,
Well,
sir?
you're filming a university campus.
So you're
with a
trying to get me
camera.
on Section 43.
No, I'm not.
So why'd you mention it then?
Well, because I'm just explaining that you seem to think that I can only act when a crime's been reported. but
No.
you
You're
do.
more than willing to come up to me and ask me.
Yeah.
If you can articulate reasonable suspicion that I may be a terrorist,
Well, you're walking around a university campus with a camera. And
this is a unit.
And you won't explain why.
but I don't have to.
A call from security labeling someone as suspicious doesn't transform lawful activity into criminal conduct. It simply means someone felt uneasy. Discomfort is not a statute. When Ed asks the straightforward question, is filming, by itself, against the law? There's no direct answer. There can't be. Because recording in a public place isn't inherently illegal. Instead of addressing that point, the officers pivot to a hypothetical: how do we know you're not filming for terrorist purposes? That leap isn't based on observable facts. It's a jump to the most extreme possibility imaginable. Suspicion isn't supposed to be built on what could be true in some worst-case scenario. It's supposed to rest on specific, articulable facts tied to real behavior. Ed's reply is precise. Law enforcement decisions must be grounded in what is known, not in imagined narratives. If the only concrete conduct identified is standing in a publicly accessible area with a camera, then there is no clearly defined offense. There's only unease about being recorded. And unease, no matter how strongly felt, does not meet the legal threshold for intervention.
Well, then that gives me suspicion of what your activity is.
So you think I'm a terrorist? You have reasonable suspicion that I am up to terrorist activities.
I don't know why you're...
I'm not engaged in any
why are you
hostile
filming?
reconnaissance because I can, as my rights allow me to. Is this not a free country?
Yeah, but...
So am I not allowed to own a camera?
You are allowed to
You're
own a camera.
filming. What's the difference between
You're
you
allowed
and
to
I?
own a camera and you're allowed to film.
What's the difference between you
and I'm not preventing you from doing that.
But why are
I'm
you
not
accusing me of being a
accusing you
terrorist then?
I'm not accusing you of being
Well, why
a
are you
terrorist.
saying I'm suspicious?
I'm just saying there are some concerns about your
What concerns?
nature of why you're filming
What
in
concerns?
university.
What concerns?
But then it gives me suspicion for why you're here with a camera.
Suspicion is not a crime.
No, but it gives me grounds to do certain things if I feel it necessary.
Are you threatening me?
I'm not threatening you.
So what do you mean then?
what the law is.
Well, you don't know the law because that's not
Well,
right.
I think I do.
Well, tell me what reasonable suspicion you have.
Well, why are you filming a university when it's
I'm not
closed
telling you.
with a camera?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, well then I'm suspicious.
That's fine. You can be suspicious.
I can, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
But then I can also act on that suspicion
No, you
if
can't.
I feel it appropriate.
You can. Yeah, you can, and I'll sue you.
Okay, well, but that's my decision.
Yeah, I know. And you'll lose your job.
Well, I'm not doing that, am I?
No, because you're scared
But
to.
you're not helping our cause.
I don't
here,
have
are
to
you?
help you.
Ed finds himself circling back to the same core principle, not because it's complicated, but because it keeps being ignored. Recording in a space open to the public does not suddenly become unlawful just because someone finds it uncomfortable. Repeating that truth doesn't make it weaker, it exposes the refusal to engage with it. He then points out something difficult to overlook. The officers are filming him while suggesting that his camera is somehow suspect. That contradiction isn't trivial. It reveals that the problem isn't the presence of a camera. It's control. It's about who gets to document and who doesn't. Then comes the statement that shifts the stakes: my suspicions give me grounds to do certain things. That's where caution lights should start flashing. Suspicion is not unlimited authority. It isn't a free pass to intrude. For it to justify action, it must be reasonable, clearly articulated, and connected to the elements of a real offense. Without that structure, suspicion becomes nothing more than a personal hunch dressed up as power, and that's not how lawful policing is supposed to function.
I don't have to help you, do I?
You don't have to.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, okay. I think we understand where we are.
I know where I understand where I am. I know the
understand
law.
where
You
I
don't. You those gentlemen over there, the guys who called the police, whoever called the police, I suggest you go and speak to them about Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967, making a false report, because that's wasting police time, which is actually a criminal offence.
Okay. It's been nice talking to you. If you're heading towards the bus stop, then
I'll go wherever I like.
Have a lovely day.
I'll go wherever
Well,
I
you
like.
won't go wherever you like.
I will indeed.
Because parts of this.
I'll go
university-
anywhere that is publicly accessible. I will go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one will stop me.
Yeah.
Not those guys up there. Not you guys
But what
either.
you need to understand at the moment.
I don't need to understand
just say
anything.
that
I know
we're
the
clear,
law.
Is so do I.
Yeah, no, you don't.
So do I. Okay.
You don't. You don't even
This
know
is
what
a-
Criminal
this-
Justice Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act
This is-
1972 is. Do you know it?
This is a
You need to
private.
know the ins and outs.
Of course you know. Of course, if you're gonna uphold the law, you have to know the ins and outs of the law. How can you tell me that you don't have to know the ins and outs of the law, but then you're here to uphold it? How does that make sense?
Ed doesn't limit the conversation to defending his own conduct. He flips the frame. If anyone may have stepped outside the lines, he suggests, it could be the person who made the inflated report in the first place. Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967 addresses knowingly providing false information that leads to a waste of police time. Yet that angle receives no attention at all. That silence is revealing. The scrutiny flows in one direction, toward the man with the camera, but not toward the origin of the complaint. Then comes the assertion, you can't just go wherever you like. That statement only carries weight if the speaker can clearly define a lawful boundary. Ed maintains that he is standing in an area open to public access. Instead of engaging with that claim in legal terms, one officer dismissively suggests that understanding the ins and outs of the law isn't necessary. That moment is significant. When authority is exercised without a clear grasp of the legal framework that limits it, the problem isn't technical, it's structural. The power to restrict movement, question citizens, or enforce boundaries is supposed to be anchored in knowledge of the law. Suggesting that such knowledge is optional undermines the very foundation that makes that authority legitimate in the first place.
You're even in Somerset Constabulary, innit?
Okay.
Absolute joke.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
I haven't enjoyed myself, actually. You've ruined my day. So go away now, please.
Parts of the university are private premises. There are public access routes.
I won't go anywhere that is private. I haven't been anywhere that's private, and I will not go anywhere that's private. As you could probably understand from the way I speak, I know exactly what I'm doing, sir. I know the laws that surround what I'm doing. I don't appreciate you accusing me of being a terrorist.
Well,
What's your number
I've
again?
not accused you of being a terrorist. I've explained.
693. You threatened
No, I
me. You
haven't.
said, "Oh, now I've got reason."
I've not threatened
mate,
you
listen,
at all.
The camera doesn't lie.
I've not threatened you
The
at
camera
all.
doesn't
You
lie.
can play your camera back.
I will.
Right?
I'll be
I've not
playing
threatened
to
you
your
at all.
superior.
I'm just explaining that if you're filming an empty university that's actually closed at the moment the university's actually closed. All right, to the students. It's
I'm not a
closed,
student.
It's closed to staff.
I'm not staff.
So why are you here?
I'm a member of the public, and I'm in a publicly accessible area.
Right.
That's why I'm here.
Well, that's fine. If you want to film
I know it's fine.
in open public spaces,
Yeah, and I'm allowed.
That's fine, but
Yeah.
you won't be filming inside buildings.
I don't want to film inside a building.
And if you trespass in private property,
It's a civil matter. Are you telling me that you're gonna do something for a civil matter?
I will do.
Okay. Oh, so okay, cool.
When the officer shifts to, if you go inside and start filming, then I'll have to take action, he's no longer addressing present facts, he's reaching into a hypothetical future to justify pressure right now. That move matters. You can't enforce what hasn't happened. Invoking a possible scenario as leverage in the present is a way of manufacturing authority where none currently exists. At its core, simple trespass is typically a civil issue between a property owner and the individual on the land. It does not automatically become a police matter unless specific statutory conditions or aggravating elements are triggered. The mere possibility of a future civil dispute doesn't grant officers the power to issue preemptive threats. And in this moment, none of the prerequisites are there. Ed isn't inside a restricted building. He hasn't forced entry. He hasn't ignored a clearly defined, lawful direction tied to an established power. He's standing in an area open to public access, recording. Projecting enforcement onto an imagined violation doesn't strengthen the legal footing of the encounter. It weakens it.
It's another
Security
complaint.
asks you to leave a private
They
premises and you
but I
refuse,
haven't been on private property.
and you refuse
But I haven't
to,
been on private property.
then I'll have
Sir,
to consider my
listen.
powers under the breach of the peace.
Oh, so now you're threatening me for a crime that listen. What part of my behaviour is threatening or abusive?
Well, nothing at the moment.
Okay, so don't threaten me with something that
I'm not
hasn't
threatening
happened
you.
or that isn't going to
I
happen.
also
You
know
are.
the
That's
law,
no. Listen, you're
okay?
just threatening me with breach of the peace when a breach of the peace isn't going to happen
Well,
because
one
I'm
of
not
my
acting in.
fundamental roles is to prevent a breach of the peace.
Yeah, but there's going to be no breach of the peace because I'm not acting in a
That's
threatening
right.
or abusive
So
behaviour.
All I'm saying is don't go into private premises,
Listen,
don't film in the
how many
buildings.
times do you want to say that?
Okay, otherwise...
How many times do you want to say that, considering the fact that I said...
And then I'll have to support them to prevent a breach of the peace, is all I'm saying.
That's fine. You
And
could
that's
do,
me knowing my law.
That's fine. You could do that, but I promise you that if the course of action that you've just stated happens, I'll sue you.
Well, that's fine. You're entitled to sue
And
me.
I'm going to make a complaint. 3 complaints in this 8 minutes 46 seconds, and 3 complaints about you. You're smart for keeping your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
You can complain.
See you later then, guys. Go.
Okay.
Be gone.
Then, almost abruptly, the phrase breach of the peace is introduced, as though invoking it alone adds gravity to the exchange. But that authority isn't a rhetorical tool. It isn't there to prop up a weak position. It exists for moments where violence is imminent, where harm is genuinely likely, where tensions are escalating towards something physical and immediate. Ed cuts straight to the core. What have I done that's threatening or abusive? The response? None at the moment. That admission is decisive. You cannot caution someone about breach of the peace while simultaneously acknowledging that there is no threatening behavior taking place. If there's no aggression, no hostility rising to violence, no gathering crowd, no atmosphere tipping toward disorder, then the legal threshold simply isn't there. Breach of the peace is meant to prevent real, imminent harm, not to add weight to an interaction that lacks it.
You need to be rude.
I'm not being rude.
Okay.
Plus, is rudeness a crime? Is it a free country? If I would like to be rude, I'm well within my rights to be rude. Okay? So go away, please, and leave me alone. You're harassing me.
Okay, that's fine. Thank
All
you very
right?
much.
Go away now. Told me I can't record in there, so now I'm going to have to walk round. You inform these guys that photography is not a crime as well, yeah? You educate these guys on the law. No, you're here. You're a public servant. You're here to uphold the law.
Yep.
These guys have broken the law by filing a false report.
They haven't,
okay?
no.
Yes, they have.
Okay.
Yes, they have. They reported a crime when there wasn't a crime being committed. They made a false report. It is a breach of Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967, and you are failing in your job right now,
Okay.
officer,
Well,
constable.
Thanks very much. It's been very nice talking to you. If you can maintain yourself on the public places,
I'll go wherever
okay,
I like. Thank you.
You know what my position is.
I'll
in
go
relation
wherever.
to
Yeah, you made threats. You made a threat of
I've not made
arrest.
a threat.
You did. You made an illegal threat of arrest. Bullies, guys.
What lingers at the end of this encounter isn't conflict, it's retreat. After the suspicion, the probing questions, the subtle warnings, and the repeated references to powers that never quite materialize, the officers quietly redirect their attention back to security. There's no visible attempt to examine the accuracy of the original complaint. The individual who initiated the response isn't questioned on camera. There's no clarification, no acknowledgement that the report may have overstated the situation. That absence speaks volumes. If the foundation for the stop had been solid, it wouldn't require a silent exit strategy. There's also a noticeable shift in momentum. At the start, the officers dictate the pace. They initiate contact. They imply wrongdoing. They shape the narrative. But by the conclusion, that control has thinned. Ed hasn't been detained. He hasn't been searched. No specific offense has been clearly articulated. No lawful perimeter has been firmly established. What remains isn't the resolution of a threat, it's visible frustration. Not because of chaos. Not because of danger. But because the interaction never anchored itself to a defined legal justification. When Ed finally walks away, it's not surrender. It's disengagement. It's the decision to stop participating in a loop that never moved beyond unsupported suspicion. If you found this analysis helpful, make sure to like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to support the channel and keep conversations like this in the public eye. I'm the Audit Assessor. This was episode 14. See you next time.